payroll related activity and relevant visa related activity, and how do you repatriate it. That's what our major concern. But I'll urge you to really think the value chain, end-to-end value chain, where this vertical, within this vertical, sub-vertical is landed resources. So I was talking to Shruti, if you really look at technology availability in marketplace, we don't have a single technology available to really integrate end-to-end. Similarly, when you deep dive into landed resource or global mobility, we have many systems. We also use INSZoom, but we don't have a complete technology which connect taxation, mobile workforce, and everything. We don't have a technology. So how to go about it? How to go about it in this? So we are looking integrating technology from 3 to 4 perspective. The first one, the technology which enables connecting people, connecting various stakeholders together in an end-to-end process. So that's one thing we are doing it. Then how do you manage stakeholders' expectation? So the first big component of technology is called connect. How do you connect different stakeholders in this value stream through a common technology, so that from the demand management to workforce planning to fulfillment, including global mobility, the stakeholders are identified and stakeholders are communicated, and a common platform is given for them to communicate it. The second technology challenges we have is process automation. Once you connect people through a SharePoint or connect people through a social media application or whatever it may be, next challenge we face it is how do you really automate the process? The process automation, right from today, if we have one technology here, it doesn't talk to each other, and we are using a lot of connectivity across the horizontals, not within the vertical. So how do you automate the process is the second challenge we are looking at. The third challenge we have is decisions, technologies around decisions. The first one is how do you connect stakeholders, second one is how do you automate the process end to end, and the third one is how do you really drive decisions. The decisions are 2 types of decisions we are looking at. One is decision, what you call it as using certain analytics and scorecard, how do you enable business to take the decision. And second one is predictive decisions. That means not only for the today, looking at the pattern for last 12 months or 24 months, and how do you predict certain behaviors, certain phenomena, and certain actions, and you prepare your organization to get into that. So that's the third one. The last one is we are looking for technology for innovation. Innovations, 2 types of technologies are available for. One is the technology to build capability. We need to have greater technology for building capability, end-to-end capability. What are the technologies available? And last one, not the least one, technology to innovate processes. The process automation is completed, then I have to use certain technology to innovate process. If I keep processes as it is for what is done yesterday, today, and tomorrow it will not work. I need to innovate the process. So the technology what we are looking at end-to-end in terms of horizontal value connection for connect people, process automation, decision making, and driving innovation. So these are the technology we are looking at, and a very interesting opportunity around this. So I'll give a few examples what kind of technology we can use it. Morning I had a small presentation, Leela Palace is a staffing association. So there are around 200 people attended that session. So one of the challenges of this technology integration or automation is the return on investment. When I go with any opportunity to my management saying that I can connect entire workflow using certain technology, they will ask what is investment I can get it. And that also investment has to give the return in the same quarter, if not the same year. So that's our mentalities, especially most of the American companies think very short term, especially in today's world, because they want return on the same quarter so that we can show the results to the analyst community or investment community. So one of the biggest challenges when you connecting all this process together is how do you get the return on investment on the same year, if not at least same quarter. The second one is we have a lot of time taken to integrate this technology. So we are looking at a smart technology which we can integrate it. So to cut this story, there are 3 opportunities we are looking at to integrate entire value chain. The first opportunity is what we call it as robotics. So there are a lot of case studies. I want you to think how robotics can be applied in process integration, especially along verticals horizontally. So Just tell me how many applications you use in global mobility. Just a rough number of applications you use in global mobility. Or in your day-to-day job, how many applications you use it? 2, 3? Minimum 3? Yeah. So in this application, sometimes you have to take a data from one application in Excel sheet and enter in another application. Either you are filling a form or entering a field. So such situation, robots can help us a lot. So morning I did a demo where robots open an application and it looks at the data and it feeds another application by filling certain fields. So robotics is widely implemented in many organizations as part of the efficiency gain. So my colleague Hema sitting here, she runs the corporate shared services. So we are piloting some of the concept in robotics like a human being using certain judgment and cognitive thinking. This can enter data and it can analyze data. So that's the first. Then the premise of robotics or extension of robotics is artificial intelligence. Certain artificial intelligence we develop in the system, and how can you use that artificial intelligence in certain decision making. The next one is machine learning. When you enter data and when you use certain machine periodically, the machine develops certain intelligence and it captures certain intelligence. How can we take that intelligence into business process improvements and automation? So these are the 3 areas we are looking at. And the last one is we are also using a lot of robotics and machine learning and artificial intelligence to drive decision making. Some of the decision making for in process for today, and some of the decision we have to use it for tomorrow, so that you are prepared for tomorrow by we call predictive decision making or predictive data management. So that's what we are using. So before I shift gear to the last one interesting topic I want to share, the key message so far is start thinking global mobility from end-to-end people supply chain management. That's very, very important. Within mobility, there are many components are there, like visa approval or identifying resources or taxation or real estate related hunting for landed resources in the respective countries. A lot of sub-process are there. Start thinking horizontal, don't think vertical. So I have seen many companies, people own these are vertical leads, demand management lead, resource management leads, workforce planning leads, talent acquisition lead, mobility lead, and within mobility sub-leads are there managing the functions. They don't talk to each other. That's the reason all the team become very complicated, because the people make it very complicated. They don't integrate, they don't automate it. So how do you really focus on that is the key. Second one is we have to use data. After you automate your process, the automated process generate a lot of data. How do you use data for decision making for day to day, as well as how do you really predict certain behavior and certain process and start preparing your organization. So that's the key message of this end-to-end workforce planning methodology which we are adopting. The last one in terms of decision making, the data is very, very important. My biggest learning is data without context is not at all useful. So what we are doing as we integrate HP and CSC into a new co, I recently made a presentation to the board of directors, we call IDT Integration Leadership Team. What kind of vision we have for this end-to-end workforce planning? I thought I'll share for 2 minutes, then I will invite the next speaker. So when we started looking at integrating end-to-end workforce planning and driving technology innovation, we started benchmarking 5 companies. And these 5 companies are nothing to do with the people supply chain management, but these 5 companies are very good in supply chain management. The first one we looked at is Toyota. I worked in Toyota for 4 to 5 years. Toyota is known for just-in-time and pull system. And we started using their concept of just-in-time and pull system. I'll give you an example how pull system can be applied in global mobility. Most of the time, we have a lot of visa-ready people in the country. For example, I have today 300 visa-ready people in India, but they are waiting for a demand to come from US. They are H1B and L1 visa-ready people. They can fly tomorrow, visa is stamped in their passport. But we don't have the demand. And we invested in them 10K for getting that visa, average, but we don't have the demand. So what we started doing is we started taking all these 300 people and started giving to our sales force and told them go and sell it. The kind of skills they have and kind of areas we are going to. So that is the concept of Toyota. That means the demand doesn't drive supply. Supply drives demand. That is called a pull system. The 300 visa-ready people need to go and pull business opportunity for them to deliver. Make sense? So that's one thing we need to really look at from Toyota kind of an organization, they're very good in pull system as well as just in time. Don't create bench. How can you hire people on demand on the day which you require so that you don't carry cost? The second one, we started looking at Amazon. Amazon, all of you know that they are very good in, anybody from Amazon here? Okay, Amazon have a concept called same day delivery, isn't it? You order in the morning, you'll get in the afternoon, if not in the evening. Including Bangalore traffic, they're able to deliver it wherever you are. I tried many times, I got all the times same day delivery, except they don't have the inventory which it has to come from the supplier, otherwise they deliver it. So same day delivery, can you deliver same day supply? Whenever the demand comes, either an onshore or offshore, can you deliver on the same day? But all of us know, forget about same day delivery, we don't take same day decisions. In the selection process, it takes a lot of time to take a decision on resources. I tell them, why are you taking too much time? Here companies are delivering on same time, now you're not able to take a decision on same time what kind of resources you want. The third company which we are looking at is a company called UPS, United Postal Services. That's a case study available called resourcefulness. This company, statistics is, they have around 4 lakhs employees or 400,000 employees globally, delivering close to 8.1 million transactions every day, like Amazon does it. But during Christmas and Thanksgiving, that demand goes 2x or 2.5x. That time also they deliver with the same people, same number of people. They don't wrap up the headcount for that season. How they developed is a resourcefulness. How do these resources stretch? When the demand spikes goes up, is called resourcefulness they delivered. It's excellent case study available on them. The next company we are looking at is Unilever. Unilever have a concept called advanced planning and optimization. How do you really advance plan demands? And how do you create a supply network, including global mobility supply, and meet it at a least cost at faster period? Is called APO model in SAP. The last company we are looking at is Uber. All of us know Uber doesn't own any resources, but only they enable resources to move around and run a business. So in demand management also, a day will come, I can go on crowd sourcing methodology. I can say, hey, I want 100 people in New York who are H1 eligible or L1 eligible. L1 of course it's not possible. H1 or visa ready or green card people to take this job. I need not go through any agency. I can put in a platform, and even I can provide a part-time opportunity. Not that full-time I want these people to come. I want only 3 hours or 4 hours these people to come and give that. So that's called crowdsourcing. So these are the 4 or 5 companies we are looking at to really integrate our end-to-end supply chain management, including global mobility. And we are going to use a technology right from artificial intelligence, machine learning, and robotics to do that. The last one, when we look at data without context is dangerous. And I've seen the video how Trump made it into the presidential role. And there was an analyst who was talking yesterday. Hillary used the big data to campaign, and she had a big data team to manage the campaign. But Mr. Donald, what he did, he worked on emotions, not on big data. And who won the race? All of us know. So sometimes big data without context or without connecting with the people is very dangerous. With the last one example, I'll wind off. When I was in Britannia as a CIO and CHRO, procurement function is very, very important. And we used to hire a lot of IIM graduates. Any IIM graduates sitting here, don't get offended. To run that function, we created a big data team to drive the procurement behavior. Because all of you know, wheat, sugar, and oil in India is highly not predictable. The rate getting fluctuated. So I have an opportunity to buy wheat for next 6 months in the price today, or I will buy wheat every month based on the price of that month. So we use a big data team to really predict and hedged the wheat and sugar. We made a lot of losses. Then we went and hired mandi buyers. That means the guys who go to the street, get connected with the big bazaars and everything, and who connected with the farmers, and they are not even graduate holders, some of them. We hired them, and they did a fantastic job of procurement. But the combination of big data and what he calls buying from the gut, and gut come from experience. So when we started using integrated technology and we started data without context is very dangerous. So that is one thing I want to leave behind. Again, thanks for the opportunity provided to me. So now next I will invite Anuj to come and talk to us. Thank you. Yeah.
Sri, thank you for providing that beautiful presentation, which really goes to show how the industry is changing and how things are really looking at in the future and in the days to come. One key thing, which I picked up from what you were essentially conveying is today when you look at organizations, organizations are no longer looking at providing a service. So, as Sri was saying, we are highly silo oriented. So today when you look at it from an organization perspective, they're not saying that, I need someone to give me an immigration service, I need someone to help me hire a resource, I need someone to help me place a resource at a client site, or so on and so forth. The organizations today are more interested in an end-to-end solution, starting from a point of where a demand is identified to the point that that demand is fulfilled and executed. So the company is looking at an end-to-end solution. So matching the skill sets needed for the demand, sourcing the appropriate individual for that, making sure that this person is eligible or can be deployed at the location where the demand exists. So that's the kind of solution which the organizations are looking for. And to do this, essentially the organizations are now, scoring their entire databases, starting from the point of, when did the talent join the organization, what are his or her skill set, what kind of expertise, what kind of projects the person has done. And, looking at using various means available with them, and integrating out all these databases through be it robotics or bots, or using artificial intelligence products or in-house developed tools, to be able to come back and say, okay, these are the options which are available to us. And the option does not just limit to saying that a resource has to be deployed from X country, but it would look at the local resources you may have available. It would look at international resources you may have available, and within international resources, you could be looking at how do you leverage a visa, or how do you leverage a treaty or a free movement of people that may exist, for example, in the European Union. So that's what today the organizations are looking at, rather than saying, hey, you're an immigration professional, just make sure that you get me the visa on time. Praveen, do you think that's the way we are heading, or?
Absolutely. So, very interesting dimensions to technology, and I'll speak about a slightly different dimension about how technology specifically for the mobility function, and where it's come to, and where it's likely to go. I think most companies are at a point where they have a workflow, they record data, they store documents, and they're able to draw reports and some insights of incidents in the past or actions in the past, and taking decisions for the future based on those insights. And as you both mentioned clearly, the need is to go cross-functional rather than siloed, and look at it from a people supply chain or a talent supply chain as a larger perspective, rather than a very limited view on mobility. But sticking to the mobility piece, where I think there are opportunities that when we look at it from the very widely used term digital, there are opportunities across the digital stack for direct use in mobility. I think cloud is probably already done. We have several people sitting in the room who offer products which is available on the cloud, hosted in the cloud. It has a huge impact, but more at the back end, where the technology costs come down, and maintenance costs come down. So there's a significant impact that's already there. Then you look at social media, and that's changing the way information is getting shared. If sooner rather than, Google today already has more information than all of us in this room together about immigration or mobility. But I think that the real question is it able to give the right answer to the right question? The way it's coming up is today people trust more what comes on a social forum when they ask somebody else who's been on site, rather than coming to the mobility team or the immigration team and asking the same question. So there are different ways, faster ways. Community sourcing of information and knowledge is becoming big, and there are several uses for this. There are forums, there are their help chat. You can get the various opportunities out there. If I move on to analytics, I think we are on the cusp of quite a big change. I think, as I mentioned earlier, most companies are at a point where they have data of actions which have happened in the past, they record that, and they're either making sense